We've got Lucy Wynne Jones. All right, Lucy, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me? This is why I'm
I
pointing
can,
towards my ears.
I can, loud and clear. Ahlan wa
Uh,
sahlan. Welcome.
great,
How
great.
are
So
you?
yeah, I'm fine, thanks. I was just before your video came on, I was busy preparing some slides teaching JavaScript, and
Okay, wow.
that's a programming language, just for those who
Yeah.
don't know. But I know, like
Is that what? So you're teaching programming?
I teach programming
Ah,
across the ages.
fantastic.
My youngest student was 9, so
No way. Okay.
so
All
I've
right.
I've taught
Wow.
across the age groups.
Is it quite
And
is it quite relatively simple to learn, is it? Or is it something complex? And I'm not thinking for myself, I'm thinking thinking more so for my kids. I'm thinking more so for Layla. I
I
think
know,
it's beyond me
I know, like,
now.
one of
There's no
my top students was a very introverted person and had a good attention to detail. So it does
okay.
depend from student to
Depend on the
student. And
I
I know,
like how
like,
you brought that point in straight away. So basically, if she can't keep focused, if so, I'll
oh,
because I
one of my
think I did
students
say to
had ADHD traits and managed to be okay.
okay, all right, okay. Well,
Uh,
okay. I mean, it's interesting. You know what? I'll explore the thought. I'll explore the thought. But
yeah,
yeah.
I'll
So how have
just
things been?
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just
Yep.
screen sharing, so I'd like to screen share this.
Okay. If you
Can you see the
can
screen share?
I can't. Oh right, wait there. No, no, I can't. Oh wait there. Here, sorry. Let me add this. Oh, it lets us add it here. Okay, I've brought it up. Are you what? Are you bursting for your first criminal record? Okay. I don't know what we're about to share here, people. I want to apologize. Okay.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is the
this
kind
this
of
is like a deja vu moment going on. For those who know. This is right. Okay. So what are we about to share here? Come on then. Let's
Okay, this is an example of a website I did in under 10 minutes, searching the image as well, just before a lesson with one of my students, because I like to demonstrate what I can do website wise before
okay.
lessons and get my student to demonstrate their work as well. But yeah,
Sure.
so this is a joke about Partygate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Does it do anything else? The page, or is it static, or does it have any other features? Life's too
Oh.
short. Why not have some fun? Yeah, people.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really have many other features. It's just simple HTML.
Okay. So
As you can tell there,
okay.
it says .html. But yeah, this is all complex web stuff. But yeah, I'll just end my screen share. And speaking of
Sure.
the internet and stuff, I did type in the chat here that I'd like to discuss, like, social media echo chambers, because social media wants to get you engaged as much as possible
Mm,
with its content. So what's happened is, like, in America, for example, and yeah, we tend in the UK we tend to hear about news from America because of
yeah.
it being an English speaking country, more so than we've heard about EU politics and other sorts of
Mm.
politics nearer
But
home.
also because America is where it's happening, where it's
Mhm.
because of the position that it's held globally, and so it's America. It's not just, even if let's say hypothetically Italy spoke English or Spain spoke English, hypothetically, we still would the news would still be all about America, because that's it's the point of direction. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like, what the problem is like the left and right in America has become increasingly
All
divided.
right.
And
Yeah.
I know, like, in a parallel in British politics is, like, the age between the different age groups is, like, the older age group have tended to support the Conservatives. Yeah, this is my right hand, so I'll do this for the Conservative Party, whereas the
Mhm.
young group have tended to support the Labour. And it's just like politics in both the United States and the UK has been more divided than ever before. And with the way that social media works, sometimes young people are not engaging with old people. Sometimes in America, for example, the right is not engaging with the left, and people are going into echo chambers, so they rarely get exposed to other perspectives, and they rarely get the chance to have proper debates. And I do find like just people I encounter on social media in general, sometimes if you want to talk politics and stuff, a lot of people do resort to what's called an ad hominem attack, which is invalid when debating, because I know, like, when you debate somebody, you're meant to disagree with the argument, you're not meant to condemn the person. And it's just like the prophets, peace be upon them, they went through a lot of ad hominem attacks, like being called Majnun, magicians, and other derogatory names. And Majnun in Arabic means delusional, as in not right in the head. So so I'll just let Mufti speak.
Oh, no. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think it's interesting that, you see, with the way algorithms and all these things work, I get it. It's from a marketing perspective that they target more and more traffic towards you based on your likes and preferences. And that is understandable from a marketing perspective. But what it's also doing is further deepening and solidifying these echo chambers, because then to you it seems that the whole world is just going on about this, because every time that's what your news feeds, that's what the YouTube brings to you, and you think, well, everybody must be talking about. So let's say you just started looking up, I don't know, let's say a particular issue, and you started researching it, and now everything, it'll just start bringing more and more traffic your way, and that thing will become like the world, and you'll also falsely assume that the whole world is also as engaged in this topic as you, because every time you open YouTube, the videos are about that. Every time you open Facebook, it's about, and there's live people with different people with videos, and so you're thinking, wow, this is so. It's from that side, you can the concerns on the polarization, but also solidifying those echo chambers and taking people more and more in. Because, look, in all honesty, I do feel that, look, ultimately, it's not just I feel that, look, this is how it is. There is no categorical good and bad in that sense. It's not like people on this side are pure evil and people on this side are pure goodness. It's not like that. I mean, people are just people. You will find people that are amazing people everywhere. It doesn't matter whether they're left or right, or it doesn't matter whether they, whatever direction, whatever kind of party that they ascribe to, you'll find goodness in them. You'll find the same kind of kind-heartedness. But it's being, you see, it's this kind of, it's not just the polarization, it's the otherization, the othering, the kind of like, oh, those people are, pitting people against people. This is worrying as well, because it just becomes any kind of, hate and toxicity. It's such a powerful emotion to play off of, that is hate, because it's so powerful. We had this, we covered in one of our book clubs, there was what was his name? William Hazlitt. He had this quote where he said that love with a little, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it wholeheartedly, but you can see, some kind of the truthfulness about it, that he said love with a little indulgence gives way to indifference, or even like indifference or even disgust. But he says hatred alone is immortal. That, like, what he's trying to say is that, you see, you can love someone, but you can become fed up with them, and you can become whatever, and you can question yourself whether you truly love them. But if you hate someone, he was trying to say, well, hatred is pure and immortal. it's like, okay, he sounds like he sounds fun, But the
Yeah, and
point
also
is,
the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said
sallallahu
that
alaihi-
that you're supposed to love moderately and hate moderately. So do
yeah,
not love somebody excessively because they might become your enemy, and do
yeah.
not hate somebody excessively because they might become your friends. So I know like
Mm.
Umar and Abu Sufyan, they eventually joined the Prophet sallallahu alaihi
They
wasallam.
did, yes, sallallahu alaihi
So
wasallam. Yeah, they did, yeah.
it's just like that piece of wisdom goes a long way, because I know
Mm.
like kind of, yeah, I have got myself into one fishy relationship. Don't want to talk about the ins and outs of it, but
Sure.
where somebody did excessively love me. It wasn't a romantic relationship,
Okay.
it was a platonic friendship relationship, and
Okay.
it's just like it got overboard. And that's one
Okay.
reason why
This is the
when
first time I'm hearing of platonic relationships going overboard.
yeah, but it's just
They
like I
became
know that
obsessed platonically. Yeah, you're my really good friend.
yeah, I know like it was more than that, because I know
No,
like it
yeah,
was
yeah.
with somebody who was older than me, so she viewed me
Okay.
as a daughter, which was a bit awkward.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Mm.
know that has taught me
Yeah.
the
It's
hard way
it's
that
it's
hadith.
strange because because I think as well emotions are so interesting because really a lot of our interactions are determined by our emotions, but we may rationalize them and think they're actually based on reason and rationale, and emotions are not things that we get taught how to control, generally speaking, and hopefully along the way we've kind of managed to have a grip of them, but some people don't, and they don't know how to, they get carried, they get obsessive, they get weird, they get, and that's true because they've just not understood boundaries, not understood parameters, not understood how to handle. And very much like this verse we were speaking about earlier on today, this innal insana khuliqa halu'a, the insan is created agitated, created in this state of volatility, just not, almost like just not calm, still, and stable. That that's a goal they have to get towards. They don't just made that way. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
and also I know like there's this Christian I know who I've met through social media platforms, and I know like she was telling me that there was some Muslim trying to proselytize to her or give her dawah, and
okay.
I just know like I told her that as we're friends and stuff, like we know each other on other sorts of levels, but I know like I mentioned to her, like yes, there's some Muslims out there that do unfortunately go into dour internet rabbit holes whereby they think that,
Mm,
and I know like some people who sometimes when some people give dawah, they do so in an aggressive, forceful manner. And
mm,
I can speak from experience, as I used to be non-Muslim and stuff, that that's like the least effective form of dawah, not the yeah, but yeah.
mm. Well, no, absolutely, absolutely, you're very right. And yeah, I think, in the past as well, people had um misunderstood something I'd said about da'wah, and it was, you see, I was saying that there is an unhealthy obsession with da'wah, and it's almost become a number crunching obsession to almost like a members club. We need more and more Muslims. I've converted 5. How many of you converted? 10. He's converted 15. We've converted. I get 1 convert every week. And this is not, you see, to me, this is not what the faith was about. It wasn't a numbers game. It's a huge journey. If somebody embraces Islam, like, wow, like what, that's a huge journey ahead of them. Who is
Yeah.
there for them with this journey? Who is going to help them? Who's going to guide them? It's not, because if we're just going to, because what happens sometimes, these converts can get caught up in these echo chambers, like you said, of sectarianism, or those people are all deviants, those people are all deviants, and this is just poison. It's like you've rescued a dying person from a desert, dying with thirst, and you're giving him poison as a drink. It's
Yeah.
like, this is, I mean, as an analogy. So it is a shame. And then what happens, many of these people, then they, within maybe a year or two, abandon the faith, and they unfortunately, suffer psychological kind of breakdowns, and sometimes go into psychological disorders, because they because what happens is this, the sheer isolation and abandonment, because many of these people, when they embrace, sometimes they're told to cut off all your family, and don't, so they already cut their own family off, and then they just have a little hub, and then that hub dictates to them that these people are like this, and if they start to question the people, then they themselves in turn get abandoned, and then they don't have anyone. So it's very terrifying. And so this is why I had said in the past that, look, I think that really we need to be more concerned, as believers, we need to be more concerned with our own self, our ego, with our state. Let's work on us. Don't worry about other people. Will see you, and the fruits that they see will draw them to the light that you beam. It will guide them. But you see, if you're just simply trying to win them rationally, let them see that, wow, what an amazing human. Why are these people so positive? Imagine they think, why are Muslims so positive? Why are they always smiling? What's their secret? I want to know what their secret is. I want a bit of that. So
Yeah. I also
that
know,
would
like
be,
as you were
yeah,
saying, that some converts get isolated from their families and the previous social networks they've had, like as in friends, family, etc. I am thinking that that's a trait of a narcissist to want to socially isolate people and
yeah,
um, to want to cut them off from their family. And I remember when I heard from a Hindu I know that, oh, in Pakistan there's some feudal lords doing bad stuff to the Hindu minority there, and they're like trying to get some Hindu girls to convert to Islam, and then they cut them off from their families, but their families still want to maintain contact with them. I was saying, like, this goes against Islam, because anyone who
yeah,
knows a thing or two about Islam knows that we're not allowed to cut ties with our family. And
yeah,
also and also and the reason why we keep family ties is because, as you were mentioning earlier about the Zoroastrians and stuff, they used to
yeah,
practice incest. Is like, in Islam, incest is haram, so the way we prevent incest from happening is by knowing who you're related to and how you're related to them and who your direct mahrams are. These
yeah.
are
And
people who are
it's
related.
fascinating. There's a discussion by the great Maliki legend of the 20th century, Ibn Ashur, who was one of the great mujtahideen of the last century. And just for people who don't know, I mean, his tafsir is in 30 volumes, and he was the great sheikh of Zaytuna in Tunis, and huge. Everybody respects him, regardless of sectarian denominational background. He has a discussion on the kind of duties towards parents, and he speaks about people who've converted, and he says that, what if their parents need money, because let's say they're short on money, but they need money to buy alcohol. and and he speaks about that it is still the child's duty to provide for them. Now, people may disagree with his ruling. I'm not saying, you see, I'm just trying to show the diversity of thought
Mhm,
in Islam. I'm not trying to say, you may say, well, I think that's wrong. Fine. But this, it's not just an anybody, it's somebody incredibly trained in Islam. And he's saying that, look, because these people are not Muslim, so they are not mukhatabun bi furu' sharia. That alcohol is not haram for non-Muslims. It's
mhm,
only haram for Muslims. So
yeah,
they are just doing something which in their way of life is permissible. So
yeah,
you are not here to impose Islam on them. You, as a child, if they need money, he was saying that, and you have it, then it's your duty to help them,
mhm,
regardless if in your way of life what they're going to spend it on is haram.
yeah,
So this to me, even if people disagree with it, look, I respect that people can disagree with it. That's their, they're entitled. I respect that for, that's their opinion. But what we have to respect here is the length at which these great ulama are discussing this, to show the sense of, like you mentioned, this the bond of relationship with your parents, with your family, regardless of faith, and regardless of, to the extent that you may not even stand for something, but they do, but it's their way of life, and you're still seeing your duty. It's amazing. It's so profound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy, shukran. I think it's been really, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I'm just going to take on 1, 2 other people and then wrap this up. So
Okay, thank you
it's
very
been,
much for your time, and
you're very
anyone can
welcome.
contact me on Instagram. I've left, I'll inshallah, I'll leave my Instagram link on the YouTube comment section.
Sure, do that. And it is just, it's like your name, isn't it? Spelt like that, Lucy Wynne
Yeah,
Jones,
with the hyphen. And I know, like, my
Yeah.
Instagram hashtag is just all my name lowercase with no spaces and no hyphen.
I think it'll be like the only name like that. I don't think there'll be another. I think you'll be incredibly unique.
If anyone's interested in learning website development or that sort of aspect of coding, as there's many aspects of coding. But yeah, thank you for your time. Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
You're very welcome. Alaikum salam, Lucy. Take care. Right, people, that was Lucy Wynne Jones. And if you are interested in computer programming and learning script, then definitely reach out to Lucy on Instagram.